What is up, everybody? Vital Syntax here, playing some Battlefield Bad Company 2, and this is a freaking long game of Conquest, and it's going to be all one video, so it's about 30 minutes long, but I thought it was a really exciting game, and I didn't want to split it up into multiple parts. I just wanted to have it as one video, so if you don't want to end up watching the whole thing, that's totally fine, but I thought it was a really, really good match, and it was very close towards the end. I think we only end up winning by 10 or so tickets. And I just wanted to talk about Bad Company 2, not about like Battlefield or any of the other stuff that I've been talking about lately. I just wanted to talk about Bad Company 2, like strategy and like tactics for Conquest. And I know this is kind of old news because this game's been out for so long. Everybody's done tactics and stuff, but I've been getting really good at this game. I think I've been improving a lot, especially, and I'm trying to just get ready for Battlefield 3, especially for the Conquest 64 player. So I've been playing 32 player Conquest, which is the closest I could probably get to, unless I actually went and played Battlefield 2. But one of the things that I love to do in Battlefield, in Bad Company 2 at least, is play the assault kit. The assault rifles are by far my favorite set of weapons. For their low recoil. Just the way the guns look, the the selection of guns. It has some of my favorite guns like the M416, the M16, the XM8. Actually, the XM8 is probably my favorite gun in this game, but it's not probably my favorite gun, in real life or in other games. It's just in this game because I feel like I do the best with it. I think it's just because it has a really good fire rate, so that the hip fire is super good. The iron sights are super easy to use, way easier than any other assault rifle in my opinion. And it's super accurate. It's almost as accurate as the M416, but the M416 shoots a little bit slower, so it's definitely balanced and everything. But so this match I'm using the extra speed upgrade, so I move a lot faster. And I just thought that seems like a good perk to have for Conquest, because you have to get from point A to point B super fast. And I don't really need to have a red dot sight. I don't need the extra ammo. So, because I'm obviously playing as assault, so I can refill my own ammo. And then on top of that, I'm also using the Magnum ammo, which I almost always use unless I'm playing unless I'm using grenades a ton, or I'm using rocket launchers. And actually, that's not a bad idea, because this map has tons of buildings, and the grenade launcher is super good, especially if you have the explosive upgrade for taking out enemies that are in windows, or if you're playing as an engineer using the rockets to take out enemies that are in windows. But there's only one tank on this map, and actually, before I go any further about gameplay and stuff, I want to talk about the map. I think I mentioned this before, but this is by far my favorite map in any Battlefield game. Part of it is just because there's a low amount of vehicles, and that's not necessarily something I like about it, but it's something that is kind of refreshing, because a lot of the Conquest maps have tons of vehicles, like Heavy Metal or Port Valdez, or there's the majority of the Conquest maps have lots of vehicles. They have tons of tanks, they have helicopters and all that stuff, and that's very fun to play around with and stuff. But I'm really mostly about the infantry-based combat. I do love to jump in a tank every once in a while, and I love to fly the helicopters, even though I totally suck with them on the PC. And I know Battlefield 3 is going to even more vehicle heavy. But I don't know, I like the infantry, the battles with just gun on gun, and I'm probably going to end up playing a lot of team deathmatch in Battlefield 3 just on my off time, and then when I'm actually trying to get the full Battlefield experience, I'm obviously going to play the 64-man Conquest, which is going to be awesome. And I know kind of sounds like I don't like vehicles, but that's not the case. It's just I like playing this map in Conquest because it just feels really, really good. And then you can see I'm tap firing a ton with the XM8. This has a really high fire rate. I think it's the second highest fire rate next to the F2000. So burst firing, you're still going to get a ton of bullets downrange, and you're going to do a lot better at long range. See, I took out these two guys, switched to my secondary. I always use the Gratch, which is the PM443, I believe, just because of the magazine size. It's probably the weakest one other than the M93R, but I feel like I can actually get 2 kills with that gun without reloading, whereas the other guns I don't feel like I can do so well with multiple people. I've even gotten 3 kills in one clip before, so. And I love to just tap the trigger, shoot really fast, and not have to worry about reloading in the middle of a battle. Like, I know a lot of people like the M1911 just because of its high power, and I think it's a 3-bullet kill just like the Rex, but the Rex has a much lower fire rate and a one bullet smaller magazine. But I don't know, I like having the 17-round magazine. Just seems a little bit easier to spray with. And I'm usually using my secondary to finish off an enemy once I've, you know, hit him with my primary, and I'm about to reload. So instead of reloading and then shooting him again, because there's no type of sleight of hand perk or any faster reload in Battlefield, I like to switch my secondary and just spam him with pistol bullets, and the Gratch seems to do that job best. See, I'm here just trying to jump over and get some grenade kills on here. So the key to this map is B. Everybody, and basically that's how it is with every map, unless there's a 4 flag map. But any of the 3 flag maps, it's usually all about B. And B's pretty wide out in the open. It's right in the middle of the section, and there's these cement barriers all the way around it, except for the water over to the right. And so there's a lot of cover that you can get if you're on either or side. So you want to make sure that you're not caught out in the middle with your pants down, because people are going to have tons of cover just firing down on you in the middle. Also, that's where the tank spawns, so you want to make sure to keep that in mind so that you don't run out there and the tank's out there. You just need to know where the tank is, because whichever team has the tank is usually going to get control of B, because that tank usually takes a lot of manpower to take out, and it could be sitting on the objective wall. You're trying to take it out. So you can see I'm doing more tap firing with this gun, trying to... Also, that kind of conserves ammo, because if you're just going to spray and hold on the trigger, a lot of your bolts are going to miss, and you're going to end up with less... And I don't know how I didn't see this guy. I guess he's right behind me. But you're going to end up with less bolts in your magazine, and if there's another guy that comes along, you're basically screwed. So basically what we did here is they pushed up and got our base at C, which is their closest flag to our deployment. So me and a couple of my squad mates pushed up to theirs at A and started taking it over. And that's actually a really good strategy, just to go back and get their base, because usually they're going to be spawning on B if they have B, and we're usually going to be spawning on B if we have B. So if you can get to their base and take it over, then they're going to have to retreat just to take their base back, and then you can get back hold of B. So, and I have no idea what was going on here. I couldn't figure out who was shooting me, and by the time I figured it out, it was a little bit too late. And you'll see me later on throughout in this match, like 3 or 4 times, I think. I actually get on a vehicle, whether that's a Sea-Doo or a Humvee, and I actually go all the way around the map just to get to their spawn point, or to the flag that's nearest their spawn point. Because when they're triple capping us or double capping us, it's a lot harder to get past their wall of men that they've created that kind of block us off from the flags, and they kind of set up a spawn trap. But this map, I think the spawns are pretty good in this map. Yeah, sometimes you do get really bad spawn traps, but I think that it's a wide enough, big enough, open map that there's it's pretty hard to get spawn trapped. And I say that, I mean, I've been spawn trapped plenty of times in this game, but that's usually because one team's way better than the other team. So as long as you have equal teams, I don't think that one side's weaker than the other side. It usually seems like both sides are pretty balanced. But you'll see, like, I get on the Sea-Doo and you can go all the way around the water, or you can go up onto the sandy area. You'll see me doing a bit and walk all the way around, or you can get in one of the Humvees and drive all the way around just to get to their base that you can capture. And we've actually got control of their base, but you can see that they're actually getting it back, so I was just coming back to make sure that we had control. And one of the key things that you need to do in Conquest is make sure you're watching the flags at all times. Right here, I actually wasn't watching it. I didn't realize that they were taking it, but by the time I saw the announcer and it said on my screen that they took Alpha back, I realized they were right behind me. Turn around, and sure enough, they're all aiming at me and mowing me down while I'm out in the open. So got to make sure that you're paying attention to each of those indicators. And the way it works, and it's pretty basic, you probably already know, but I'll just lay it out just in case you don't. Blue is a friendly flag, red is an enemy's flag, white is a neutral flag, and a flashing flag means that somebody is capturing it. So if there's a red flag and it's flashing, that means your teammates are capturing it, and if it's a blue flag and it's flashing, that means the enemies are capturing it. So you need to make sure to watch those. So if you see an enemy flag is being captured, you can go in and help and go make sure that that flag gets completely captured and completely get control of it, so you guys can keep your guys' tickets instead of losing them. And also, if you see a blue flag flashing, then you always need to run back and make sure that the enemy doesn't control A, B, C, whatever the flag is, so that you can keep control over the most amount of flags that you possibly can. Now this upper level of this map is, I'd say it's pretty important, because you have the overlook of the rest of the map, and you can kind of get up in these buildings that I'm in. You can get up on the roofs or in the second or third story. and you have kind of an overlook of B pretty well, and you also have an overlook of A. And it's definitely a very, very strategic spot. There's also the UAV up there, so if the enemy's got control of B and they've got, you know, the tank or whatever, one of the best ways you can get rid of a tank is the UAV, and just hop in that thing, put on the explosive upgrade, shoot some rockets down on it, and you know, you can take it out in 1 or 2 hits, especially if your teammates are helping you out with you know, RPGs and rockets and all that stuff. So you can see, once again, I'm running all the way back around here just to get back a hold of the base. I'm just going to basically sit in this corner until we capture this base. And you'll see actually later this entire building gets destroyed, and it's completely flat. And one of the best strategies when you see a down building like that is just to get inside the rubble. I see people do this all the time. Just get inside of the rubble, and you have a lot of cover, and you can only see enemies coming from 1 or 2 directions, so it's a lot easier to predict your enemy's movements. You have a lot of cover, like I said, so you know they can't noob tube you. They can grenade you pretty easily, but they have to know that you're in there in the first place, and that's pretty difficult for them. So we captured A right here, and they probably didn't even realize we were capturing it until it said that, and I thought I saw something over here. I thought I saw a bullet shot or something, but by the time I got over here, I didn't see anybody, and then luckily there was this guy over here, so. So yeah, I know I'm talking really fast and I'm going through tons of gameplay elements, but I just thought that, you know, I had a 30-minute game. It was Conquest, and I don't know. I think I'm doing a lot better with Battlefield and trying to learn how to play the game correctly. Actually, when I started out playing on the PS3, I only played Squad Deathmatch, and I played a lot like Call of Duty, and you really can't. It's a completely different beast, and you need to play it with teamwork, you need to play with strategy, you need to communicate with your teammates, you need to play the objective. Is really important, and you can see throughout this entire match I am all about the objectives. I ended up with a pretty good score, but the KD is not that good. It's like a 2.4 or something, which really isn't that high. But all I'm worrying about is the objective, and I actually think I'm one of the reasons that we won this game, because we were pretty close and I captured plenty of the objectives, and if I wouldn't have been doing that, I don't think we would have gotten this win. So even if you have one soldier, somebody that's doing their job like I was, sometimes that can change the whole game. So make sure you guys are playing the objective. And this guy kept Carl Gustaving me, which was really freaking annoying. I hate dudes that do this. If you ever see somebody with a Carl Gustav explosive upgrade and extra rockets, then he's probably a douchebag. But I hope they do something about that in Battlefield 3. I didn't play the alpha, but I'll have to test it out in the beta. I'm wondering if the rocket launchers are, I wouldn't say overpowered, they're just kind of annoying. The Carl Gustav seems to be the weapon of, or the grenade or rocket launcher of choice. I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe the projectile goes faster, it has less arc or something. Maybe they just like the way it looks. I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure the RPG is just as good. I'm pretty sure DICE did a good job of balancing those. So, but I don't know. I hope there's not a Carl Gustav in Battlefield 3, although it's really not that bad in Bad Company 2. It's just every once in a while you get really pissed off. So right there, I was in the tank. You gotta get in the tank, and you're probably gonna get blown up really fast. I probably should have been moving back and forth, and I probably should have driven around to get a good flank on those guys, but I was trying to give cover to my teammates so that they could push up and use the tank as cover. And right here I took a very risky move in going down the very middle of the map just to get over to this side, and it ended up almost paying off, but some guy catches me with his G36. And the G36, that's another gun I love. By far my favorite medic weapon, that or the XM8 LMG, but the G36 has always been one of my, in real life, favorite weapons, and I'm glad that they're bringing that back in Battlefield 3. I'm pretty sure it's going to be an assault rifle, so I'm super excited to use that weapon. And right here I was running all the way back to our deployment to see if I could get a vehicle, but none of the vehicles were there, so I was like, oh, screw it, I'll just have to run all the way back, which kind of sucked. I was going to try and go all the way back and go and get A, but sometimes there's no vehicles around, and that really sucks. So one thing I wasn't doing that I noticed right now that I probably should have been doing is is calling out different bases. You can put your cursor or your weapon or your crosshairs on one of those flags, and if you press Q on the PC by default, I believe, and then also if you're on the Xbox or PS3, it's like the select or back button If you press that on one of those objective markers, you'll mark it for your team. I'm not sure if it's for your entire team, but I know it's for your squad, but they'll mark it so you can tell your teammates to go there, and you're also going to get extra XP once you actually get onto those flags. So that's just something that I actually found out pretty recently. I don't know if there's a ton of people out there who know it. If there are, then sorry for repeating already known knowledge. So yeah, I don't running out of things to say here. It's like 30 minutes. This is going to be a long commentary. Let's see, what else should I talk about? I'm drinking the Pepsi. I'll go back to some of the questions I had on my previous Bastion, a couple of videos that I posted, my playthrough. I actually had some pretty good positive feedback, and I haven't had any negative feedback, but I haven't had very much feedback altogether. So more feedback on those videos would be kind of helpful on what playthroughs you guys want to see. I'm going to continue to do the Bad Company 2 gameplay commentaries like always, but I want to do some single player stuff because I'm getting pretty frustrated with some of these multiplayer games sometime. I actually had a really good fun time with it tonight, which is pretty rare now. I usually get pretty frustrated. But I'm thinking I'm going to do this Bastion playthrough. Not sure how much of you guys want to see. If you guys want me to stop, I can finish it on my own. I also wanted to do Dead Space 2. I purchased it on Steam for a really good price, but I haven't even touched it yet. So let me go know if you guys want to see Dead Space 2. What else? BioShock 2. I don't know if I'm going to do that one as a playthrough because I'm like halfway through it. I don't want to start all the way over, but I definitely want to finish it before BioShock Infinite comes out, and I don't even know what the date is on that. But what else we got? We got The Witcher 2. I'm also kind of in the middle of that one, so I don't want to have to start that over because I'm already like 16 hours in. That's a pretty long game. I think that was it. I think it was just the Bastion playthrough and the what was the other game? I just drew a blank. Dead Space 2. There we go. So yeah, just leave a comment if you guys want to see Dead Space 2 or the Bastion. Here's exactly what I was talking about earlier. Getting on these Sea-Doos and driving into these islands. I probably should have kept driving the Sea-Doo, but it was a little bit late after I started turning, and I accidentally drove this onto the beach, and it got stuck. So I just decided to run for it. This is also a really good spot for snipers to go, especially if you get the sniper scope and put the spot sight on. And don't even shoot at people. Just look at them, spot them, call them mortar strikes, put the extra explosive upgrade on them. That's seriously, that's a really good strategy. Number one, you're going to help your teammates like crazy because spotting enemies with 3D spotting in Battlefield Bad Company 2 it helps so much. And number two, the mortar strike, especially if you did the explosive upgrade, is super good, especially at the angle you have. If you look over to my left, or I could look over to my left, I'm not doing live commentary, but if you look over to my left, you'd see that B area. And it's wide open from the middle, and you can call mortar strikes in really easier on either side of B, where all the your enemies and teammates are. So seriously, you should try it out. Explosive upgrade and the spotting thing. So I basically ran all the way to the end, swim all the way across, and then I go capture A by myself. And I think it actually worked out pretty good because right now we're about to triple cap on, which is always really good. And another thing I wanted to say about Conquest that I actually found out like 2 days ago, which is kind of sad, is not only does the controlling flags affect your tickets, but also killing enemies does. So medics out there, you're actually helping your team a lot when you revive people, because if an enemy kills a teammate, you guys lose a ticket. Just as if you were not controlling a flag, you guys lose a ticket. But if a medic comes around and revives that dead person, you get that ticket back. So it's super helpful if you're playing as medic. Obviously also medics are going to keep teammates on the front lines, and you're also going to get tons of points for it. So medics are definitely a huge part of Battlefield, especially Conquest. And that brings me to another point I wanted to talk about in Battlefield 3 is the new class system. They've got the support classes using the LMGs and the ammo boxes. They've got the recon class, which is basically the same, but I'm pretty sure there's not going to be throwable motion sensors. I think that means they're going to be placeable. Maybe you could just put it on the ground like you could in Black Ops type of thing. And then we've got, what is it, the medic? Is it the medic? No, it's not. not sure what it's called, but there's the medic where it has assault rifles and the health packs, and then you've also obviously got the engineer with the rocket launchers and the repair tool. But I don't think the repair tool is like a screwdriver anymore. I think it's a blowtorch or some type of welding tool, which makes a lot more sense. But what I wanted to say is what class I think I'm going to be playing with, and I wanted to hear from you guys what class you're going to be playing with the most. I'm personally really excited to use the assault, the medic class. The medic class. Well, actually, I think they do call it the assault class. Yeah. I think the assault class is the new medic class. So I really want to use the assault class because number one, I love the assault rifles. The AK-74 AK-74M looks awesome. The M16, and I can't believe I got both of those guys in the pistol. M16, all the guns, the G36, all the guns I've seen in the alpha, and we're gonna see in the beta, and actually when the full game comes out. And there's going to be a lot of guns. If you guys haven't seen that fact sheet yet, they released a fact sheet at Gamescom, and it shows off all the weapons, all of the maps. Actually, it doesn't say that all the maps, but it tells you how many there are. It tells you all the game modes. It tells you basically everything there is to know about the game. If you haven't seen those, definitely see if you can find those. I bet you they'll have them on the forums or battlefieldO.com. There's a couple other community sites like that where they would definitely have it. So. But yeah, I'm super excited to use all the assault rifles, and on top of that, I love being the medic and reviving people and giving them health. So that's like the perfect kit for me. At the same time, I also really want to use a lot of the light machine guns they're incorporating. From the alpha, I saw there was like 3 or 4 assault rifle or light machine guns that didn't have 100 round magazines, and I know that sounds weird, but I don't like the assault or the light machine guns that have that large of magazines because it usually means that they're going to be have a lot more, be a lot less accurate. They're usually high fire rate. They usually don't do very much damage. But there was the PKM, I think, or it's the RPK. I'm not really sure which one. But it's like an AK-47, but it's got the 46 round magazine. It's a little bit heavier, I guess. And then there was also like an HK-21, I think. I'm not sure exactly which one it was. There was another assault rifle or a light machine gun that looked kind of like an M4, kind of similar. And just to point this out, I jumped out of that Humvee just in time. If you saw right before I jumped out, I drove over a landmine, and I noticed it at the very last second and was able to jump out before it actually killed me. And I'm doing the exact same thing I did earlier where I run around the entire edge of the map just to get to their base to capture it. And you'll see I run into a couple enemies up here and I just kind of ignore them. I tried to spot them, but sometimes the spotting doesn't always work. But instead of shooting them, here you can see there's like 2 or 3 guys right here. Instead of shooting them and giving them a position and maybe getting like a couple kills, it was a much smarter idea to actually just ignore them and go all the way for A so I could get control of that. Number one, it's going to get us more points. It's going to get them less points. It's also going to make them retreat a little bit, so they have to get off B while we're capturing it. So, but going back to the classes, I'm also really excited to use the new sniper rifles. They have a new like bipod system that looks really cool. I saw in the alpha you can pull out your bipod while you're in prone or where you're up against like a countertop or a ledge or something, and you can like hook it up on there. And you like shoot and you like zoom out, cock the bolt if it's a bolt action. I don't know, it just looks really, really cool. And I know the sniper rifles have always been something that people complain about in Battlefield, but I really hope they do something to fix it. And number one, they've actually already done some things. Number one, they're adding weapons or sway, and there was a little bit of sway in Bad Company 2, but it was mostly vertical sway, went up and down a tad bit. And there was no breath holding. I'm pretty sure in the Battlefield 3 beta we're going to see the ability to hold your breath. And I don't know if that was already in the alpha, but in the full game I'm pretty sure there's going to be like a hold your breath mechanism similar to like Call of Duty and a couple other first-person shooters like that. But I'm excited that they're doing that because it kind of balances out quick scoping and really, really long-range, super accurate snipers that's just sit in the back of their base, which is really annoying. And I also know that they're doing something with the glint whenever you, and right here, it looks like I'm just a terrible driver, but I actually dodged a landmine at the very last second. And I see a guy up on this roof right here, and I really want to get a knife, so instead of doing my typical go all the way around and get the base, I decide to go up and knife this guy, and I'm about to go up this ladder, and I realize, no, he's probably waiting for me up there. So I run around, and there's actually a second ladder a lot of people don't know about, and look at this little dumbass. Got his dog tags. That's another thing I want to talk about is the dog tags. Man, I'm just every time something happens in the game, I'm reminded of something. Talk about the dog tags in a second. I want to finish this class discussion. So the sniper rifles look really cool. I'm super excited about that. The engineer doesn't excite me too all that much. Submachine guns, I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, I like them too, but I like assault rifles and sniper rifles probably the most. And our rocket launchers, I don't really care about. I committed suicide. The repair tool, and I'm not a huge vehicle guy, although I'm not going to say I don't like them. I just don't use them as much as a lot of other people out there. So I don't know. Engineer doesn't excite me all that much. Yeah, those are the 4 classes. I think I'm probably playing the assault the most. The the support or whatever, the guy who hands out ammo with light machine guns is the second most, and probably the recon the third most, and probably engineer the least. But I don't know, that could change. I might need to be playing engineer like constantly because of the immense amount of vehicles that they're going to have in Battlefield 3. But back to the dog tags that I brought up a second ago. I don't know if you guys know, but there's going to be customizable dog tags in Battlefield 3, which is a really good idea. It's something that I think is not going to, it's going to add a whole other layer of customization and personality to the game, which is one of the things I love about Call of Duty. You can have your emblem, your player card. You can have backgrounds and clan tags, and you put all the things that you can do to customize your stuff. And I like that Battlefield's bringing some of those things into Battlefield 3. I hope they do some skins like they did the Spec Ops skins. I hope that they expand upon that and have a ton more of them in Battlefield 3. And I think I saw something about there's like a Spec Ops pre-order option with like Amazon or something. So I'm hoping they'll have some type of Spec Ops or something like that where you can, sorry, not Spec Ops, Spec Act. Some type of thing where you can get custom skins. Whether or not you have to pay for them, that's kind of stupid, but I would hope that they would have another skin system where you could change the camo of your gun and whatnot. But yeah, back to the dog tags once again. Customize your little dog tags. They said there's going to be like 320 different ways you can customize it. Like I'm guessing those are the different options for the background of your dog tag. And you could probably put like your favorite stat on there. I believe like you could put your kill death ratio if you're a KD horror. You just have a good kill death ratio. You could put your win loss ratio if you're a really good team player. You could put score per minute. And right here, I think I get a triple spray, which was awesome. You could put like your accuracy. I have a couple of my friends that are obsessed with their accuracy. Freezing Rain, I'm talking about you. Any of those stats that you wanted to, you could put directly on the dog tag and show off to anybody that sees your dog tag, whether they knife you. I guess maybe you could see them in the lobby. And I hope they have some kind of a lobby like they do in Call of Duty, because I know I'm not saying I want it to be like Call of Duty. I just want a way to view my stats, view my unlocks, and view like what guns I'm about to get gold stars with in between games, because it's really annoying that you have to actually leave the game to view information like that. So I have to some type of system maybe where you could just view stats and stuff. So but yeah, I'm hoping they'll have like some really cool backgrounds. I know they said something about there was like a Battlefield 2 veteran one, I guess, that you get if you played Battlefield 2, which I actually never played that game, but somehow it's on my veteran status, so I hope I can get that dog tag. I don't know if I mentioned this before or not, but my veteran status is like 7 now, and on the PS3 it's like 14, which is just ridiculous. Some type of glitch, I guess, that they have with the system, and I know it's super screwed up in the first place, but and then I also saw there was like a Vietnam one. There was a couple other ones. I know you got one for pre-ordering on like Amazon, or it might have been GameStop. I'm not sure. But yeah, those would be really cool. Maybe they'll do another like Dr. Pepper promotion thing like they did with Bad Company 2 and Spec Act, but you could get like dog tags or something. It seems like something they could just give out for free because it doesn't really affect anything. So I'm pretty excited for those, because I always like adding layers of customization and stuff like that. So the game's coming up to a close. You can see they actually had 0 tickets right there, and we ended up winning by actually like 40 tickets. I didn't know it was that high, but yeah, good game, bro. Alright, so we'll just pull up the stats here. I went 51 and 23. Like I said, it wasn't a super good kill death ratio, but you can see I captured tons of flags, got tons of different ribbons, and I'm getting pretty close. I'm level 25 right now. I'm trying to get to level 26 to get the G3. I believe that's when you unlock it. But you can see I got 5,272 points. Beast mode, first place. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, remember to like and favorite. Peace.